Hey guys, how are you all? My name is Harshit friends, and I welcome you back to my video. So in this video friends, I will be talking to you regarding Sri Aurobindo Ghosh ji. I will be discussing the biography of Sri Aurobindo Ghosh ji, his initial life, then his life, as a freedom fighter. He was involved in a lot of revolutionary activities, and after that, during the trial of Alipore Bomb case, he slightly, went away towards the spirituality, philosophical thoughts, mystical thoughts, and finally he went to Pondicherry in 1910. So all of these things friends about Sri Aurobindo Ghosh I will be discussing friends. So this video is in English. If you want to watch the Hindi version of the video, its link is given in the description box below. Also friends, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on the Instagram profile link given in the description box below. Now see friends, Aurobindo Ghosh was born in 1872 on 15th of August friends in Kolkata. He was famous. He's also famous as a political leader. He's also known as a spiritual leader. He was associated with Indian National Congress for a small amount of time. The name of his wife was Mrinalini Devi. Name of his father was Krishna Dhan Ghosh. Mother was Swarnalata Devi. He died on 5th of December 1950 at Puducherry, at the Sri Aurobindo Ashram. Okay, so all of these things I'm going to talk about it, friends. His father, Krishna Dhan Ghosh, he was actually an assistant surgeon in Rangpur area of Bengal, and he was such a big fan of British culture that he also wanted his children to learn English. He also wanted his children to learn the British culture to get exposed towards Christianity. So that is why he went all of his male children to Loreto House boarding school, which at that point of time was in Darjeeling. And this Loreto House boarding school was actually the hub of British ways, British culture, and that is why Aurobindo Ghosh father, intentionally sent Aurobindo Ghosh there so that they can learn British culture, they can exposed to the ways of Christianity and all of these things, because he was an ardent fan of these things. His father, okay. Also, initially, from the initial stages, Aurobindo Ghosh, and also when during his youth, he was very much focused towards the reform movements. He wanted to reform the society, and that is why the reason for that is that his great grandfather was associated with Brahmo Samaj. This Brahmo Samaj was started by Raja Ram Mohan Rai. Separate video is already made on it and uploaded on my channel, friends. Okay. Now, after studying at this Loreto House boarding school, friends, at the small age of 7, Aurobindo Ghosh was sent to England. Okay. And then he stayed there in England for 14 years. Now, see, friends, at that point of time, Aurobindo Ghosh was sent to England to study. That means that he belonged to quite a good family, affluent family. Today, also, if anyone goes at such a young stage to study in a foreign institution, he is said to belong from a very good family. So, at that point of time, when the country was not even free, when Aurobindo Ghosh was sent to study in England, it means that he belonged to a very good family. So he in England studied at St. Paul's School 1884. Then he attended the scholarship, and then he went to King's College in Cambridge in 1890. And when he started studying there, friends, he was actually good intellectually since very young. And when he went to England, his horizon widened. He became more and more educated, more and more mature. He developed his intellect, and finally he was also able to qualify the civil services exam. Now, after qualifying the civil services exam, friends, he came back to India in 1893 and got a job at the Gaekwad royal family of Baroda. He got a job, of the Maharaja, became a civil servant to the Maharaja of the state of Baroda. So he came back to Baroda, and now he is going to stay in Baroda for around 12 years. Now, when he came back from foreign, friends, he has been living in foreign for 12 years, so he knew many foreign languages, especially European languages. But actually, due to his time being spent in foreign for such a long time, he was not actually much versed with the Indian culture. He was not very much known about the Indian ways. But when he resided in 12 years in Baroda, now he during these 12 years also worked as a teacher. He was also a secretary to the Maharaja of Gaekwad, and he was also the vice principal of the Baroda College there. Now, when all of these things were done by him, he also learned Indian languages, he learned Indian customs, culture, traditions, ways of living, social ways, everything he learned. And then he got to know, when he analyzed things with his intellect, friends, his knowledge, that actually this British rule is very, very pathetic for Indians. It is very, very harmful to Indians. these Britishers are exploiting India for their own use. He got to know this, and slowly, his interest developed in politics, and he started moving slightly towards politics, friends. Okay, and this association with politics started during his working in Baroda only, friends, because he came to Baroda to work for the Maharaja of the Gaekwad of Baroda in 1893. He worked there for 12 years till 1905. So during this time, friends, he was in touch with some resistance and revolutionary groups of Bengal and Madhya Pradesh. Secretly, he was also contributing articles to a publication named Indu Prakash. Okay, and he was of the belief that our country is in the clutches of a foreign rule, that is the British government, and these Britishers should be thrown out of the country. Okay, now after leaving Baroda, he came to 1906 in Kolkata. When he came to Calcutta, the partition of Bengal has already been announced by at that time Lord Curzon. Now, actually, Aurobindo Ghosh supported the call against this partition of Bengal for non-cooperation. And what was this non-cooperation? Swadeshi movement, boycott movement. Swadeshi movement means that we will use our cloth, we will use Indian-made goods, we will study in Indian colleges. What was boycott? That we will boycott everything which is, related to Britishers. So Aurobindo Ghosh also helped in these things, friends. Also, in addition to doing this, in publicly he was associated in a non-violent manner. However, secretly he was also organizing revolutionary activities, friends. His participation in revolutionary activities slightly tensed the environment, and he was actually involved in a lot of things. He came in touch with revolutionaries like Bagh Jatin, Surendranath Tagore, Jatin Banerjee. He was instrumental in formation of many small youth revolutionary clubs, including Anushilan Samiti. The Anushilan Samiti video has already been uploaded by me on my channel, the Anushilan Samiti in Jugantar group. Kindly go and watch this video, friends. Also, he attended the Indian National Congress session of 1906, friends, which was headed by Dadabhai Nauroji. Now, obviously, at that point of time, one topic was brimming, that is the moderate versus extremist debate. And in this moderate versus extremist debate, Aurobindo Ghosh was on the side of extremist. He was supporting Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and he straightforwardly said that his are fourfold objectives: Swaraj, Swadesh, boycott, national education. National education, it is very much clear. Boycott means boycott of British made goods and everything which is Britisher, even colleges. Swadesh means using everything which is made in India, even education. And Swaraj was independence. And for him, for the people, at that point of time, they were asking for either a complete independence or give us dominant status. See, at that point of time, complete independence concept was not there, but actually these people were in favor of complete independence. They wanted the British rule to go outside India. Okay. At that point of time, Aurobindo Ghosh also started publishing a daily newspaper named as Bande Matram in 1907, friends. BANDE. Okay. Then in 1907, the Congress split took place. Moderates and extremists got separated. Moderates were given a carrot in the form of, parliamentary reforms of 1909, in which actually nothing was given to them, and extremists were given the stick. They were being jailed, they were being chased, everything bad was being done to them. So after this split, Aurobindo went to many different places. He traveled extensively across Pune, Baroda, Bombay. He educated people. He inspired them towards the nationalist struggle. He wanted to join them in the national movement during all of these things were going on. But actually, in 1908, he was arrested in his connection to the Alipore bomb case, friends. Now, in the Chittaranjan Das video, I've already told you that when in this Alipore bomb case, Aurobindo Ghosh ji was, tried, then Chittaranjan Das ji defended him, and Chittaranjan Das ji defended him in such a proper manner that he was completely acquitted. So please go and watch the Chittaranjan Das ji video also. That is also very important. And he was just released after 1 year of solitary confinement in the Alipore bomb case. After his release from the jail in 1909, he started two publications. First is Karma Yogin, English, almost related to yoga, and Dharma in Bengali. That is also related to spirituality and religious type of things. Okay, friends. Now see, you can see Karma Yogi and Dharma. It is sort of philosophical, mystical, and religious in approach. So what happened, friends, that when he was inside the Alipore jail, he actually got a feeling that his destiny is not towards the Indian freedom struggle. His destiny is something towards mythical, something towards the spiritual, something towards a religious, you can say. He wanted to lead a now mystical and philosophical life. He wanted to do his spiritual awakening. And that is why, in friends, April 1910, he secretly moved to Puducherry. At that point of time, Puducherry was under the control of French. It was a French colony, and he started a new life there, friends. And there, he already left the Indian freedom struggle. He became a yogic. He became a monk. He started having spiritual learning. He practiced yoga in seclusion. The practicing of yoga in seclusion for many days, it is also known as integral yoga. Sorry, this integral yoga was done by Sri Aurobindo Ghosh ji. And also, friends, now Aurobindo Ghosh was of the view that if an individual has to be transformed into a divine entity with divine thoughts from a human being, then spiritual practices is the best way to do it, friends. Okay. Now it was being said that when he was in confinement in the Alipur jail, he had many illusions. He said that he was always hearing the voice of Swami Vivekanand ji, who was again and again saying to him that you should go towards spiritualism, you should go towards spiritualism. Now, after he settled in Pondicherry, friends, he was completely dedicated to philosophical dealings. He was completely, dedicated to spiritual subjects, philosophical subjects. His connection from outer life was gone, especially his connection from Indian freedom struggle was totally gone. So, when his connection with the Indian freedom struggle was gone, Britishers stopped chasing him. Now, in 1914, he started a monthly magazine named as Arre, which was basically a philosophical magazine, a spiritual magazine, taking you towards the spiritual things. Okay, now slowly, friends, when Aurobindo Ghosh was doing these things, his followers also coming up in huge number. Initially, his followers were less, but slowly, his literature, his sayings, his teachings influenced a lot of people, and his followers also increased. And finally, in 1926, Sri Aurobindo Ashram was opened. Okay, now Aurobindo ji wrote a lot, friends, and he wrote on yoga, he wrote on spirituality, but in addition to yoga and spirituality, he also wrote on a lot of other subjects like Indian culture, Indian customs, Vedas, societies. The books that he wrote were the foundations of the Indian culture, then the secret of the Veda, then the human cycle. Now, these are very famous publications, friends, because many people read this today also. Many people who are towards spirituality or who are getting old, they want to go towards spirituality, you will find them reading all these books. Okay, even in Europe, these books are very famous, friends. And also, Aurobindo Ghosh ji used to write poetry also. Now, his liking for poetry not only developed in India, it developed even when he was in England, friends. And he wrote a poem named Savitri. Now, this poem was a 24,000 line poem. It was a great piece of literature, friends, and it was basically based on his spirituality. And such was his literature, friends, that he was nominated for the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1943 and for the Nobel Prize of Peace in 1950. Okay, friends. Now, initially, when he went to Puducherry, initially his followers were very less, but slowly he gained many followers. And finally, after getting too much of followers, he opened his ashram in 1926, friends. Okay, when he opened his ashram, he prefixed SRI Sri in front of his name. This Sri means sacred in Sanskrit. And actually, he was being helped by a French woman whose name was Mira Richard. She was a French national and was a spiritual collaborator who helped Aurobindo Ghosh ji to set up his ashram. She came to Pondicherry in 1914. Aurobindo Ghosh has already came in 1910 April. Okay, friends. Also, after some point of time, when Aurobindo Ghosh ji used to go in seclusion, for his yoga, Meera Rachar ji used to take care of the ashram. She was being referred to by the followers as the mother, friends, and actually she was being equally respected and venerated by the followers in spiritual wisdom and knowledge, friends. Also, friends, in initial phases, Aurobindo Ghosh ji was married at the age of 28 to Mrinalini Devi. She was the daughter of Bhupal Chandra Bose, who was a government official. The marriage took place in 1901. Unfortunately, his wife died in 1918 due to some disease, and Aurobindo ji went away on 5th of December 1950. So, this was a complete history achievements and biography of Aurobindo Ghosh ji. I hope this video was helpful for you. If it was really helpful, friends, kindly subscribe to my channel, like my video. If you are disliking, kindly tell me to the comment section below why you are disliking it. Please share your experiences, friends, and as far as possible, share these videos with your friends on your Instagram profile, social media profile. So thank you, friends. Goodbye. Take care.